There you go. Okay.
Okay, I can start, right?
Please.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Laya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vancha Kalpataru Shri Chaitanya
Manavishtam Stapitam Jane Bhukti Bhutale
वांछा कल्पतरु भस्यसा कृपा सिंधु एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
All of you ki jai. So yeah, so actually I added the Brahmi Mantra for Srila Rupa Goswami because we are reading his book. It's okay. It's okay. I'll read it so everybody knows the words properly, and maybe next time we can do this. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai. Okay, great. So before we start, any questions from last week? No? Okay, all right. Then I'll get started. And as mentioned before, we are doing chapter 1 of Nectar of Devotion. So, I forgot my book. So it's the first chapter. I think page number should be 1. Somebody can confirm it?
Page number 3.
Okay,
Page
I will just get my
number
book.
3.
I will need it anyway.
No.
Okay. Yeah. So if somebody wants to read the first paragraph,
I can read, Prabhuji.
please go ahead.
First of all, characteristics of pure devotional service. Starting now in Shri Mad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 29th chapter, verses 12 to 13, Shri Kapildev, while instructing his mother, has given the following characteristic of pure devotional service. My dear mother, those who are pure devotees and who have no desire for material benefit or philosophical speculation have their minds so much engaged in my service that they are never interested in asking me for anything except to be engaged in their service. They do not even beg to live in my abode with me.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. So to once again reiterate that, this chapter is about pure devotional service, and it's what do you say? It's going to describe the characteristics of pure devotional service, and there are 6 characteristics that's going to talk about. Now, here, Rupa Goswami is starting this by essentially giving a translation summary of verses 12 and 13 in the 29th chapter of 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Ashok Krishna Prabhu, I've sent this in the handout. Would you mind sharing your handout with everyone? Put it on the screen.
Yes, Prabhu, let me share. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
See the screen, Prabhu? Yes.
I see it, Prabhu. Thank you. So here, as you can see in the translation, the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So basically, what's being said here is that the symptoms of pure devotional service, once again, remember what was the definition of pure devotional service, is free from all contamination of material nature, right? So here, excuse me, Kapil Muni is describing to his mother Devahuti that the basic principle of this pure, unadulterated devotional service is what? Love of God. I mean, that's why you're doing it. You want to obtain love of God. Therefore, the affinity between a pure devotee and Krishna is natural, because the love in the heart is there in the pure devotee. And it's so strong that that affinity, the attraction, that relationship, the desire to be with each other is so strong as compared to the Ganges flowing towards the sea. Has anybody in real life seen where Ganges meets an ocean? I have, and it's like very fast flow. And then suddenly it just disappears. Now, that flow of the Ganges water, I should say, cannot be stopped by any condition. You can put some boulders there, you can put some stones there, whatever, you won't stop it. Just go around it. The word is used in this verse, avichinna, cannot be stopped. So the idea is that just like if you can use the term attraction of Ganges water with the ocean, a pure devotee's attraction for the transcendental name, fame, form, pastime of Krishna cannot be stopped by any material condition. What does that mean? It basically means there is no material contamination in the loving relationship between the Lord and the Lord's pure devotee. There's another word used here. It's called Ahadtuki, which means Ahadtuki means for no reason, without any reason. So what that means is that a pure devotee does not render loving service to Lord Krishna for any cause or any benefit, whether it's material benefit or even a spiritual benefit. And that is the symptom of unalloyed service. So let's go back to the verse. Anya abhilashita shunyam. No material desire to fulfill by rendering of this devotional service. And this service is meant only for Krishna, nobody else. Then there's another word used, avyavahita, which means without cessation. What that means is that a pure devotee engages in the service of the Lord 24/7, without stopping, without cessation. And his life is so designed or molded or styled or whatever what you want to use, is that every minute and every second of the day, this devotee engages in some sort of devotional service, any of the 9 processes of service to the Supreme Personality of God. Another meaning of the word avyavahita, first meaning was without cessation, without stopping. Another meaning is that the interest of the devotee and the interest of the Supreme Lord are on the same level. Prabhupada uses the word dovetail. So you can say the interest of the devotee is dovetailed with Lord Krishna. I don't want anything you don't want. I don't want to do anything you don't want. Whatever you want is what I want to do. Even if Lord Krishna said, okay, fine, go to hell, go to Patal and preach for the next 10,000 years. The devotee says, of course, sure, no problem. Just yes, I'll do it. And that is what Anukulyan Krishnanushilnam is. Do what Krishna wants us to do. Whether that's being with him and doing it or going to hell away from him, we simply do it. And that is what Arjuna was saying in Bhagavad Gita 1873 when he said, Karishye vachanam tava. It goes to such a degree that even the desire to go back home, back to Godhead, is a desire that pure devotee says, I don't want that. I don't want that. And that was displayed by Lord Chaitanya in his Shikshashtakam verse number 4, when he says, Mam janmani janmani bhavtat bhaktir ahadtuki tvai. He said, life after life after life, just allow me to be to do a causeless devotional service to you. So it's not saying, take me home, don't let me ever come back. Yad gatvana nivartante. No, nothing like that. Keep me nivartanting. Keep me coming back. I don't mind, just as long as I'm allowed to do Ahadtuki Bhakti. And again, that's a very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st canto, chapter 2, text 6. Savay punsam paro dharmo jato bhakti adoksja. Ahadtuki apratihata. Yayatma supisati. So same 2 words, Ahadtuki apratihata. Without any cause and without any stopping, any cessation. So same thing being said here. So that is the desire, that is the role, that is the duty, that is the want to do of a pure devotee. And that spontaneous, loving, devotional service is transcendental and therefore is never contaminated by the material modes of nature. A pure devotee, one who has reached the prema stage, never falls down. And we'll talk about that in more detail later on. So, before we start reading the next paragraph, any questions or comments? Was that clear?
Yes, Prabhuji, for me.
Okay, thank you, bro. All right. So, somebody wants to read the next paragraph, please?
No.
Please do. Yes, go ahead.
There are 5 kinds of liberation, namely to become one with the Lord, to live with the Supreme Lord on the same planet, to have the same features as the Lord, to enjoy the same opulences as the Lord, and to live as a companion of the Lord. A devotee, what to speak of rejecting material sense gratification, does not even want any of the 5 kinds of liberation. He is satisfied simply by discharging loving service to the Lord. This is the
Characteristic of pure devotion. Okay, so Ashok Sabu, can you pull the screen up a little bit so we can see the chapter, text 13? Thank you, Prabhu. That's good. Okay, so the verse is saying, Salok Sarshti Samip Sarup Ekatvam Apiuta Diyamanam Nagrahananti Vina Mat Sevanam Jana. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, Salok Sarshti Samip Sarup or Ekatva, even though they're offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, what's happening here? This is again same as what Lord Chaitanya said in the verse I just quoted from Shastakam, na dhanam na janam na sundari ma kavita va jagdish kamaye mam janmani janmani shwar bhavat bhakti rahati ki tvai. Janmani, life after life, saying, keep me coming back to the material world, I don't care, as long as I get to perform pure devotional service. So he's saying, don't give me liberation. I don't want Salok, Sarshti, Sambhi, Sarupya, or Ekatva. I don't want any of that. Okay. I just want Ahadtuki Bhakti. I just want a spontaneous love for you, Lord Krishna. If you contrast that with the yogis and the jnanis, what do they want? They are basically looking for cessation of the process of birth and death. But here devotee is saying, no, keep me in the material world, I don't care, as long as I'm allowed to execute pure devotional service. And so that's above anything else. A pure devotee doesn't want ekatva, which is the last word in that series that they're using. Ekatva means oneness with the Supreme Lord. So I don't want that. I don't want to merge in the body of the Lord. Sure, if you want to send me to Vaikuntha to serve you, fine. But I don't want to merge in the manifoldness. That's the worst that can happen. Why? Because there is no service. And a pure devotee is so fond of rendering service to the Lord that any of these 5 kinds of liberation are meaningless to him. It's like, what's the use in living in a golden palace if you cannot breathe? So without service, a pure devotee cannot breathe. And also it is said that a pure devotee has already achieved the 5 kinds of liberation that are being talked about. And I always get mixed up. Is it Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti or Yamuna Acharya? One of them, I forget, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. But he said that when I look at Krishna, when I look at Bhakti Devi, the devotional service personified, I see Mukti, the liberation, standing behind her with hands folded, looking at me saying, please accept me. And I'm saying, no, I don't want you. Now, there are 4 types of liberation that a devotee can achieve or receive, whatever he wants to use, when promoted to Vaikuntha. The first one is Salokya. What is the meaning of Salokya? Anybody?
Living in the same planet or place.
Yes, thank you, Veda. Thank you. Yeah, so living in the same planet as the Lord. Now, there are innumerable Vaikuntha planets, so depending upon which form of the Lord this devotee is serving, that's the planet they go to. But Salok means living on the same planet. The next one is Sarshti. Who can tell me what Sarshti is?
Having the same opulence of the Lord.
Correct. Thank you. So Sarshti means they achieve the same opulence as the Lord. What does Samipya mean?
Samipya means close.
Living
Close
as a companion. Yeah.
Yes.
As a companion.
Correct. Personal associate.
Personal.
And Sarupya.
Having the same bodily feature.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Same
Narayan
body.
form.
And but there are some differences. A couple I can think of right off the bat. What would be the difference between the form or the looks of a devotee who's achieved Sarupya liberation and the Lord?
His Kaustubhamani and
Srivatsa.
Yes, very good. The Shivas, which is the hair on the chest of the Lord, and Kaustubhamani, the special necklace that he has. So a pure devotee does not accept any of these 5 kinds of spiritual existence. Even if the Lord says, please take it. The devotee says, no, don't trick me. I don't want any of that. And certainly a pure devotee does not hanker after any material benefits. Because once again, material benefits are insignificant in comparison to the spiritual benefits. And I'm sure you all know what Dhruva Maharaj said when the Lord offered him, the kingdom that the mother started to look for before he started doing his penances. And he said, Ketartho asmin bhagwan varam nayachi. He says, I'm fully satisfied having seen you. I had left home looking for a broken piece of glasses. And what is that broken piece of glass that he was looking for? The kingdom more opulent than the kingdom of Lord Brahma. What can be more opulent than that? And he's comparing that kingdom of Brahma with broken glasses when he says, I can receive the touchstone of your association, or the privilege of seeing you, getting your darshan. So that's the pure devotee simply aspires to serve the Lord. And serving the Lord is the pure devotee's highest happiness. There is nothing beyond that. Okay, next paragraph, someone wants to read it?
Hare Krishna, can I read, Prabhuji?
Please, of course.
In the above statement by Kapil Deva from Srimad Bhagavatam, the actual position of a pure devotee is described, and the primary characteristics of devotional service are also defined. Further characteristics of devotional service are described by Rupa Goswami with evidences from different scriptures. He states that there are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service, which are as follows.
Yeah, thank you, Mother.
Shall I continue?
No, please wait.
Thank
So,
you.
Prabhu, can you move the screen up a little bit? There you go. Yeah, keep going. That's it. Thank you. So there's a verse here at the top. It talks about the 6 characteristics that are defined here on page 3 of the book. So this goes, Kleshagni Shubhada Moksha Laguta Krita Sudurlabha Sandrananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Akarshani Chasa. So the 6 characteristics being defined. First one is Klesh Agni. It's the first word in the verse. It says, pure devotional service brings immediate relief from all kinds of material distress. That is Klesh Agni. And again, we can do a lot of detail about each one of them. But right now, that's being listed. Second is in the verse Shubhada. Shubhada is pure devotional service, which is the beginning of all kinds of auspiciousness. Now I'm rephrasing a little bit from the book, but that's what Shubhada means. Third one is pure devotional service. Sorry, is Sandranand Visheshatma. Actually, I'm sorry. The third one is Sudurlabha. In the verse, third one is Sudurlabha. Just pure devotional service is Durlabh, Sudurlabh, very rarely achieved. Fourth one is Sandranand Visheshatma, which says pure devotional service automatically puts one in transcendental pleasure. Transcendental means it surpasses all forms of other happiness. Even makes the pleasure of the liberation insignificant. Sandranand Visheshatma. Then Sudurlabha, which is talked about already. Sorry, I think I mixed it up. Shubhada was second one, and fourth one is Sudurlabha. Okay. Fifth one, I haven't confused anybody, is Sandranand, according to the verse. And sixth, sorry.
Pitashri, can I repeat it please once again?
Yeah, please. I think I mixed the order up.
First one is Kleshagni. Second one is Subhadraksha.
Shubhada.
Third one is
Sorry, hold on.
Sadhananda. And fourth one is Tudurlabha. And fifth one is Moksha Laghuda. And sixth one is Shri Krishna Karshini, right?
Yeah, so you're reading from the book.
Yes.
I'm reading from the verse. And
Okay.
that's why I think it got mixed up. So I want to just look at the verse, please.
Okay, thank you, Pitashri.
Okay, look at the verse. Kleshagni is the first one, right? Kleshagni is the relief from all kinds of material distress. Second word is Shubhada, which is auspiciousness. So pure devotional service is the beginning of all auspiciousness. Third word is Moksha Laghuta, Krit, Moksha Laghutakrit means that the pure devotional service makes even obtaining moksha as insignificant. Laghuta means insignificant. Fifth word is sudurlabha, which is rarely achieved. So, sorry, 1, 2, 3. So, fourth is
No,
sudurlabha.
fourth one is
Yeah.
Sudurlabha.
Fifth is Sandrananda Visheshatma, which means that it gives a lot of pleasure, which exceeds even the pleasure of liberation. And the sixth one is Shri Krishna Akarshani, which means it's the only way we can attract Krishna. Okay, so I'm sorry I kind of mixed up the order, but I was trying to go with the same order as the verse as opposed to the order is written in the book. So is that confused everyone, or is that okay?
Oh, it's okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, all right, thank you. So basically what this verse is saying is that Kleshagni means the pure devotional service destroys all sides, all types of kleshas. Kleshas is distress or material afflictions, like avidya, ignorance, like egoism, like material affection, like hatred, like intense attachment to material things. All those kind of distresses and material afflictions are destroyed by pure devotional service. That's the first word. Again, we'll talk in a lot more detail. Right now, I'm just giving the summary of what it is. It's Shubhada, which means it's all auspicious. It's Moksha Laghutakrit, which means even moksha is nothing compared to this. Sudurlabha is very rare. And Sandranand Visheshatma means it makes the heart full of bliss. And finally, Krishna Akarshani, it attracts Krishna himself. Okay, Krishna in his various forms, etc. Okay, all right. So I apologize if I got everyone confused because the order, because I wanted to use the same order as the verse. Anyway, next paragraph is only 3 lines. If somebody wants to finish that,
shall I read, Prabhuji?
please.
Krishna is all attractive, but pure devotional service attracts even him. This means that pure devotional service is even transcendently stronger than Krishna himself, because it is Krishna's internal potency.
Yeah, so I especially wanted to make sure we read it very carefully, because look what this is saying. I mean, this is huge. It's saying this someone, or sorry, something is stronger than Krishna himself. Shvetashtar Upanishad says, Nata samo abhyadikasya darshate. There's nobody equal to or greater than Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, Ham sarvasya prabhuva matta sarvam prabhata. I'm the master of everyone. I'm the origin of everyone. You know, in 529 Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sarvalok Maheshwaram, I'm the master of all the planets. Here, we're saying, no, there's something that's stronger than Krishna. That is pure devotional service. Why is it stronger? It attracts even him. Why does it do that? Because pure devotional service personified is who? The topmost pure devotee is who?
Srimati Radharani.
Radharani, Srimati Radharani. She's stronger than Krishna. And that's the main point of this. And we'll talk a lot more detail again about Shri Krishna Akarshani. But this is a huge point. I wanted to make sure nobody missed that. Okay. After this, now Rupa Goswami, Srila Rupa Goswami is going to get into the details of these 6 characteristics. But before I do that, I wanted to make sure certain concepts are clear to everyone. So I'm going to ask you, what are the, if you want, you can stop sharing now. Thank you. So what are the 3 stages of devotional service? Anybody? 3 stages of bhakti. Or 3 types of bhakti.
Is it a sadhana bhakti, Prabhuji? You are
Yes,
making
Prabhuji, that's the
sadhana
first
bhakti,
one.
prema, bhava bhakti, prema bhakti.
Correct. So sadhana bhakti, that's number one. And there's a 1A and 1B. So what are the two bhaktis under sadhana bhakti? That's one. What's the other one?
Vaidhi bhakti.
Yes. So just to make sure everyone is clear, sadhana bhakti, under sadhana bhakti, you have Vaidhi bhakti and Raga Nuga bhakti. Then that leads to Bhava bhakti, that leads to Prema bhakti. Okay. So now the reason I wanted to make sure we talked about that is that under the sadhana bhakti, Klesh Agnatva, which means removing all sorts of material distress, and Shubhadatva means auspiciousness, are achieved in the sadhana bhakti. Okay, clear? By doing sadhana bhakti, we get rid of the kleshas and it is auspicious. When we move to bhava bhakti, of course we have the klesha, kleshanitva and shubhadatva, but now we have two more, two of the six more. One is moksha laghutta krita, which means that the practitioner, the devotee, understands the insignificance of any kind of liberation. And the second is sudurlabhatva, which means it's very rare. So basically it means that a person in bhava bhakti stage doesn't care for liberation, but bhava bhakti is very rare to achieve. And then of course the topmost is prema bhakti, which has all these four, but also the remaining two, which is the Sandrananda Visheshatma, meaning the extreme transcendental pleasure, bliss in the heart. And Shri Krishna Akarshani means the only way to attract Lord Krishna is the Prema Bhakti. So is that clear? I just want to make sure that I can connect the different stages of Bhakti with these six characteristics. So Prema Bhakti has all six. Bhava Bhakti is only four. And Sadhana Bhakti is only two. Klesh Agnatva and Subhadatva. Is that clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, all right. Now, one other thing in Sadhana Bhakti, I probably it's out of context, but let me just say it anyway. In Sadhana Bhakti, it's not pure Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So really, you could say that Sadhana Bhakti is more like Bhakti Abhas. Yep. Which means it's just shadow of Bhakti, just touching it. But of course, it's still strong enough that, you know, Sadhana Bhakti will get rid of Maya for us. So, I mean, it's still very potent, but it's not quite the same as Prema Bhakti. And during the stage of Sadhana Bhakti, the Shuddha Bhakti is very rare. The pure devotion is very rare. I mean, the attainment is very rare, very difficult. But when it does appear, the Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion service, does appear in the heart, then at that time, the Siddha Swarupa, the eternal identity of the person, as well as the realization of the true intrinsic nature of Bhagavat Tattva is revealed. So now you know who you are, Siddha Swarup. Now you know who your Prayojan Krishna is, and now you know what is the nature of the relationship. And when that happens, a deep attachment of bhakti develops.
Hola. Hola.
Sorry, somebody want to ask a question or? Okay. So when that kind of attachment develops, it's called rati. And as you know from the verse Adoshaddha, rati is what leads to bhava. Okay. Was that clear?
So that is the asakti, Prabhuji, right? That's what.
No, rati. Rati. So asakti and then rati.
Oh, asakti and then rati. No. And then bhava. After that, bhava.
Correct. So rati leads to bhava. So until Rati is Raganuga Bhakti. So Nishtha is the beginning of Raganuga Bhakti. Then you have Asakti and then Rati. Once you get Rati, that's the completion of Raganuga Bhakti, and you move to Bhava. Okay?
Dad, can you please repeat that in a little slower?
Yes, sure. So, you know how they say, Ado Shraddha, Tato Sadhu Sang, Atha Bhajan Kriya, Syat Artha Nivritti, Tata Nishtha, then Asakti, then Rati, then Bhava, then Prema, right? Those are 9 stages. So let me just go back right to the beginning. The first 4, which are Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sang, Bhajan Kriya, Artha Nivritti, they are Vaidhi Bhakti. Okay, is that clear? Those 4 are Vaidhi Bhakti. Then you move to Raganuga Bhakti when you reach the stage of Nishtha. Nishtha is the beginning of Raganuga Bhakti. And that is when the beginning of the revelation of Siddha Day starts. It's not done yet. It's like, think about it, the conception has occurred. Nishtha stage. And then, you know, like the real baby in the material one, 9 months development. So then the development is 3 stages. Nishtha, Asakti, and Rati. That's the mature stage. When you're fully in Rati, that's the mature stage of Raganuga. At that time, the Siddha Day is revealed. And you can move to Bhava Bhakti.
Sorry, at that stage, you're saying the Siddha Swarup, or you're using a different word?
Siddha Swarup. Siddha Swarup.
Yeah.
That's your eternal identity. I'm happy to repeat it again if that's not clear, because it's a very important point.
Did you use a different word other than Siddha Swarup? You said Siddha something else, I thought.
Oh, maybe my accent.
I think Prabhuji used the word Siddha Dehe.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I did say that. De means body, Swarup means form.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Can I say something?
Of course you can.
Okay, I have kind of a ladder, which I know, like we start by Shraddha, and then we have Sadhu Sangha, and then we have Bhajana Kriya, and then Anartha Nivriti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Shakti, Bhava, Prema. So is this different from what you are saying?
Yeah, I was using the word asakti. Sorry, so Ruchi, I apologize. Ruchi, I forgot. Just Nishtha, Ruchi, then it's asakti, Rati, and Bhava. That's how I understand it.
Okay. So I don't have Ashakti.
Okay.
I
So
have Bhava and Prema.
Rati is the, I guess, more concentrated form of asakti. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot Ruchi. Yeah, so Ruchi, which is the taste. Okay. So Radhavakti, did I answer your question? Are you clear now?
But I'm so sorry. Can I just repeat the 9 stages really quickly? I just want to make sure. It's Adal Shraddha, which is faith, right? Then Sadhu Sangha, association with devotees. Then Bhajana Kriya, performance of devotional service, right? Anartha Nivriti, then Nishtha, and then Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, Prema, right?
Yes, no, I was saying Rati also. So Asakti looks like Mataji was saying that she doesn't have Rati in her list.
Okay, so Rati is, I'm sorry, Dad. Rati is the same thing as Asakti?
Asakti and Rati. Well, Asakti means attachment.
Yeah.
Rati also means attachment.
Okay.
So I'm saying, and I'm just guessing here, that maybe deep Asakti means Rati, and that's why there's confusion. But I seem to remember both seeing Asakti and Rati both in the verse that I saw. Can somebody Google it and just see what it says?
Prabhuji, the 9 stages, I think
one term that you're using, which I'm not able to find, is rati, and the term ruchi is one that you're not using. So ruchi and rati, these are the two terms. I don't think they're interchangeable.
No, they're not. Ruchi means taste.
Yes, but therein lies a difference.
What I think what's happening, asakti and rati may be the same. Because
Probably, yes.
It does mean attachment.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, all right. So did somebody find the verse on Google?
Yes, Prabhu, I can share it. Madhya Leela.
Yeah, please do. Just to make sure that you're all the same.
Sorry, I was distracted, but I think this is what you wanted. Do you see my screen?
I don't see it yet.
You can see
Yeah,
now.
now I see it. Yes, I see it.
Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Tata Bhajan Kriya Tato Anartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishtha Ruchis Tata Tata Shaktis Tato Bhava.
Yeah. Yeah. So asakti and rati seem to be the same word that I'm mixing up.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much for clarifying this. My mistake. I was thinking asakti and rati were two different things, but they're not the same.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, see here says asakti means attachment on the screen.
Yeah, asakti is attachment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Yeah, you can unshare it, please. Yes, thank you. Okay. So with so much confusion, is this clear now? Okay. In the stage of bhava, Krishna can start to become attracted, but in prema bhakti, the devotee actually can start to participate in the pastimes of Krishna Lila or the pastimes of Krishna. All right. Okay. Now let's go to the next paragraph in the book. If somebody would like to read it.
I can read it, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Relief from material distress. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that one should surrender into Him, giving up all other engagements. The Lord also gives His word there that He will protect surrendered soul from the reactions of all sinful activities. Srila Rupa Goswami says that the distance from the sinful activities are due both to the sins themselves and to sins committed in our past lives. Generally, one commits sinful activities due to ignorance, but ignorance is no excuse for evading the reaction. Sinful activities are of two kinds, those which are mature and those which are not mature. The sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present stage are called mature. The many sinful activities stored within us for which we have not yet suffered are considered immature. For example, a man may have committed criminal acts but not yet been arrested for them. Now, as far as he is detected, arrest is awaiting him. Similarly, for some of our sinful activities are awaiting distresses in the future, and for other which are mature, we are suffering at the present moment. This is very clear, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, Ashok Krishna Prabhu, can you please share the screen again? Yeah, that's great. So please look at the diagram here. And this is what the paragraph is saying, that the reason for all our suffering is our ignorance or avidya. That's the beginning. Because if you're not in avidya, we are in knowledge that we perform not sinful activities, but hopefully devotional activities. The ignorance leads to material desires. The Sanskrit word for this bijam. So it's out of our ignorance that we start to have material desires. And when we have material desires, we perform desires turn into actions, which are sinful actions. Now, remember, we're only talking the negative side, because desires can also lead to some, pious activities. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the negative side here. So these material desires lead to sinful acts, also known as papam. And it's those sinful activities that result in suffering or the kleshas. So it's a very simple diagram. It shows how it happens. Okay. Any questions on this diagram? It's just very simply showing how we end up suffering, all resulting from avidya. Okay.
Very clear, Prabhuji here.
Okay, good. So basically, what is papam? Remember the word vikarma from Bhagavad Gita? What is vikarma?
Actions done against scriptures.
Correct. Very good. Thank you. So any actions that are prohibited in the scriptures are called vikarma, and those are sinful activities.
Yep.
Now don't confuse that with offenses. Aparadha. So what is the difference with the aparadha and pap?
Aparadh is something you did wrong, and pap is like you will have to like reaction of that also. Sinful reaction you will have to face. That is more, I will say, like aparadh is something you did wrong, but pap is like you have, how to say, I don't know, more impact.
Prabhuji, may I?
Please go ahead.
Aparadh is something that you commit knowingly. Pap is something that you commit unknowingly.
No. Okay.
Hare Krishna, aparad is offenses committed. When we commit offense, that is aparad. And pap is bigger, it's something that you will be punished more severely.
More serious.
So you mean aparad results in less severe and pap results in more severe?
Prabhuji, can I try?
Yeah, please do.
It's the other way, Prabhuji.
Okay, so say it in your words.
Aparad keeps you away from Krishna.
Okay.
And pap keeps you in the chakravyu of birth and death.
Okay, I like that.
So Prabhuji, aparad means, you commit against a devotee.
Well, yeah, typically, but could be against the Lord.
Okay.
So aparad is
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Aparad is, okay, somebody is showing hands up.
Yes. One is at spiritual platform, another is at material platform. Pap is at material platform, aparad spiritual platform.
You could say that.
No,
you could say that. So
Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yes.
So, sorry, Prabhu. Hi.
No, please go ahead. Jamunar Prabhu, go ahead.
So what I was trying to say is, sinful, pap is sinful. Like pap can be even mostly on material platform, like bodily platform, you can say. But aparad, like the word radh means Radharani. So apa means against. So going against Radharani. Basically, aparad, the consequence is it takes you away from the devotional service. Sinful reaction, like devotee, for example, Jagai and Madhai, they were doing a lot of sinful activities, but still they were able to get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because they had not performed the aparad. They had not offended the devotees. They have not. So in that sense, aparad is more severe compared to sinful reaction, because sin is mostly performed in ignorance, whereas aparad, you may be knowingly doing it. So that's my.
Okay, so Prabhu, you are correct. Actually, aparad means aradhana, which is deity worship or worship devotional service. Aparad means something that will take you away from devotional service. So offenses will take you away from devotional service, whereas sinful pap will lead you to perform sinful activities, resulting in kleshas, the distress.
Okay.
Okay. So in other words, Aparadhas will destroy or minimize your bhakti, where sins may not have any effect on that.
Yep.
So an example of pap is killing somebody, stealing something, right? They are prohibited activities in the scriptures. And if you do them, you earn sinful reactions. And as a sinner, you'll have to pay for that. And of course, when we talk about sins, it's always kleshas, miserable things, right? Because you've done something bad, you got to pay for it. All right. Now in the paragraph that Prabhuji read, it talked about mature and immature, right? So those distresses or kleshas you're suffering from today are mature ones. There's another term for it that I'll introduce later on, but for now, let's use the term that Rupa Goswami is using. They are mature ones. And the kleshas from which we'll suffer from in the future is immature one. So Rupa Goswami gave the example of the person being caught at some point in time. I can give another example, an alcoholic. An alcoholic drinks heavily, he gets a hangover, or maybe he loses money, or is lying there in the gutter, talking nonsense. That is the mature aspect of being an alcoholic. It's visible. But what's not visible, what's not mature is that his liver may be damaged, but it may not be obvious for another 10 years. So the liver damage is immature. Lying in the gutter, talking nonsense, losing money, having a hangover, that's mature. Okay, does that make it very clear?
Yep.
Okay, good. So the next paragraph, somebody can read that, gives more examples of mature and immature activities.
May I, Prabhuji?
Please do.
In this way, there is a chain of sinful activities and their concomitant distresses, and the conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. He is suffering in the present life and results of sinful activities from his past life, and he is meanwhile creating further sufferings for his future life. Mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease, if one is suffering from some legal implication, if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly.
Yeah, thank you. So basically, again, if you can see it, it's mature. If you can't see it, it's immature. Okay, so let's break it down a little bit further to understand this better in terms of karma. But that's basically what we're talking about. So I would like you to use your imagination. Imagine a water tank where you have a input coming from the top. There's some water supply coming from the top. Pipe is connected and it's filling the tank. At the bottom, there's a spout that when you open, the water comes out. Okay? Is that picture clear in your mind?
Yeah.
So whatever water is coming in from the top in the tank is our karmas now. What we're doing right now is adding the water. Is that clear?
Yep.
And what's coming out is the result of our past karma. Right?
Yep.
Now, so if we take out, let's say one lota full, one bowl full, the water is still there in the tank. So the water still in the tank will come out later. But there's still our water, our karma. So what's in the tank is immature. What came out is mature. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, let's take another example. Who likes M&Ms? Just say yes if you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine. At least who knows what M&Ms are?
एक मिनट आना.
Only chocolate flavor, Prabhuji.
Only chocolate flavor? Any color will do?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good. That's good enough for me. So let's assume for a second there are only two colors.
ये मेरा हाथ लगा है, पता नहीं क्या हुआ.
हाँ, क्या हुआ?
Sorry.
हाथ लग गया.
Oh, okay. So let's imagine you have a bucket, a huge bucket on your back. And it stays with you. Whenever you take birth, the bucket is with you. And this bucket is full of green and red M&Ms. Green M&Ms represent good karma. And red M&Ms represent bad karma. As we perform karma, we're adding either red M&Ms or green M&Ms, depending upon whether we're doing good activities or sinful activities, pious activities or sinful activities, right? So green is pious, red is sinful. They're both being added to the bucket that we're carrying. Now, only human form, or I should say in human form, we accumulate karma. It's called karma yoni. All other species, non-human species, are bhog yonis. They only suffer or enjoy the results of their karmas. They don't accumulate. So for example, when a lion kills a deer, there's no bad karma. When a demigod enjoys, there's no bad karma. Okay, only as humans you accumulate. So as humans, we're accumulating it. So more and more red and greens are being added to the bucket. Whenever we take birth, wherever, Lord Krishna will put his hand in the bucket and take out a handful of M&Ms and put them in a lota. Lota means a bowl. This lota now contains a mixture of green and red M&Ms, which is our prarabdha or our destiny for this life. I'm going to pause, make sure that part is clear. So whatever is in the lota is our prarabdha or destiny in this life. Yes, no?
Very clear, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
The remaining M&Ms in the bucket are immature or aprarabdha karma. So prarabdha is mature, aprarabdha is immature. Aprarabdha is going to come later. Prarabdha is what's destiny in this life. So for example, somebody is born ugly or poor or has so many natural calamities like cyclones, earthquakes, hailstorms, and somebody is born very handsome in a rich family in a place where there's a lot of tranquility. They're basically representing different destinies, different products, or different mature karmas. Okay. So what we are, what we suffer through in this life is our mature karma or prarabdha karma. What will happen in the future is our aprarabdha karma or immature karma. Clear? Now, there's another term called sanchit. Sanchit means something that has been collected. So sanchit karma is the combination of prarabdha and aprarabdha, which means the whole bucket is sanchit karma. Is that clear?
Yep.
Okay, and then whatever we are adding, the M&Ms or the water, in this life is called kriyaman karma. That's what you're doing, and therefore you're adding it. Okay?
Kriyaman.
Kriyaman, Kriyaman, if you want to.
Kriyaman.
Okay.
Okay.
Kriyaman. Okay. Like Kriya,
Prabhuji.
you do something. Huh?
Can I ask?
Of course you can,
question?
mother. Please go ahead.
What is aprarabdha karma and the other
Aprarabdha
thing?
is unmanifest or immature, something that's not coming out yet. So remember, I was giving the example of the the tank, the water coming out. So water that has come out is
mature.
prarabdha, mature. The water that's
That's
remaining in the
prarabdha.
tank is immature or prarabdha.
Yeah. Which is happening now is prabdha.
Is prarabdha.
Prarabdha.
Yeah, Prarabdha.
Prarabdha. And aprabdha, which is not come yet.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. What is then you mentioned that Sanchit karma is a prarabdha plus aprarabdha?
Yeah, Sanchit is a whole, the sum total. This is prarabdha plus aprarabdha. The whole bucket is Sanchit.
Is it the bija, Prabhu? The bija.
No. Don't confuse.
That is different.
Don't confuse. It's totally different. It's
Okay.
just stay with me. I'm going to go very slowly, methodically. Otherwise, it's very confusing. So stay with me, please. Okay. So right now we've only talked about immature, mature, or prarabdha and aprarabdha, and Sanchit is the combination of the two. So what's in the tank, what's in your lota combined is Sanchit.
Yep.
Okay. Now, again, I encourage you to ask me a million more questions if not clear, because they are very fundamental concepts that we have to be clear on.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Sometimes we do some activity and we get instant result. What category would that fall into? Prarabdha or aprarabdha?
So Prabhu, only results you get is prarabdha. Now, unless you're talking about, you cut your hand with a knife, you may think it's the activity immediate result, but cutting your finger is whenever you did that. It's not, it just looks like it's immediate reaction, but it's not. You are meant to cut your finger because of whatever karma you did in the past. Okay, we'll talk later on about how you can change your destiny, but generally speaking, it's not changed.
Prabhuji, I have a question too.
Amali?
So it will always be like first in, first out kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? The karmas that you have accumulated first, it will be the one that you will exhaust.
No.
It will not, it can be.
Just look at it, imagine this way. When the water is put in the tank, there's no layers.
You don't know, right?
There's no layers, right?
That's what I was a little confused.
Right?
So then how do we differentiate mature and immature?
No, don't even confuse it. Mature is what has come out already. It doesn't matter where. So for example, let's take a case, somebody goes somewhere in different countries, comes back to Canada and gets malaria.
Yeah.
Now, all we know is that a mosquito bit. But we don't know which country, which date, which month. It was sometime when it was away in those countries.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the last place you went to or the last mosquito that bit you. It's not that. So similarly, you could have had something that you did 500 human life ago. Or it could be something previous one. There's no guarantee. There's no.
Okay. That's what I was a little bit confused about. So it's not that, 500 years ago, those are the ones.
It could be 5,000. It could be 5 million.
It can be any. It can be any. So it can be even this life.
No, not this life.
Not this life. Okay.
It's past lives, but
past lives.
Immediate past life. It could be 5 million.
Okay. So this life are not mature yet. That's what we are trying to.
No.
Okay.
This life is the mature one. Whatever mature.
No, whatever we are, of course, going through, the sufferings that we are going through is the one that we have accumulated in previous lives.
Right.
The one we are going through is the mature ones that we are going through. But whatever we are accumulating at the moment, the karmas that we are doing, those will be the next life or the next lives or whatever.
Whenever, sometime in the future.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I wanted to. Sorry for all the confusion. Thank you.
No, this is very complicated. So that's what I'm saying. Just take your time. It's important that we all understand this.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Prabhuji, can I share one sentence that I remember about this concept?
Sure, Sona.
So I had heard in a class, it was Nitai Severi Mataji's, and I never forget that. She says that because most of the times we are hankering towards the material pleasures, right? So she says our material pleasures today are impregnated with our sufferings tomorrow. So that's how I remember that.
That's correct. That's the 522. That's Bhagavad Gita 522. Jehi Saspashra Bhoga Duksh Yoniya Evte. The material happiness is the mother of future material distress. That's exactly what Krishna is saying.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question also. So what happens if in this human life we are performing sinful activities and then we get animal's life in the next? So what happened to the karma? Is still stored?
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. It's like it goes with your false ego, which is your subtle body.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes subtle body, so it never leaves you.
Yeah,
And
but
that's
in the
why
animal life,
you're always entangled in the material world until you get rid of the karmas.
yeah, but in the animal life, we are not going to pay for any karmas, are we?
So in the animal life, you're suffering or enjoying, but all the bucket is still there from all your previous human lives. Bucket hasn't gone anywhere.
So meaning that animals also suffer the karmas.
That's what I'm saying. Animals and all other non-human species are bhog yonis. They suffer or enjoy the results of their karmas. So bad karmas that get you the life of a cockroach or a snake or a dog or whatever, right? And you're suffering the result of your past karmas as a human being, as a dog, as a cockroach, as a snake, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So I remember something which I would like to share, and please correct me if I'm wrong. So in Mahabharata, when Dishraj at the end, he asked Lord Krishna, why my 100 sons were killed in front of my eyes. Then Lord Krishna replied that 50 past 50 life, you did something wrong. You wanted to shoot a bird, but the bird flew away, and then you killed the little birds who were in the nest. And then Jashraj said, 50 lives, past 50 lives. So why did I have to wait for so long to get this karma, to have this karma now? Then Lord Krishna said, because you didn't have good pious activities, pious karma to have sons. So it took you 50 lives time to have 100 sons. You did good karma, then you got the 100 sons. And now in this life, you are seeing them dying in front of your eyes. That is your karma.
Yeah. So yeah, the different versions of the same story, but again, the idea is the same.
Idea is the same.
Perform the sinful activities, you got to pay somewhere.
Okay? Thank you.
And it could be 50 births ago, it could be 100 births ago, it could be any numbers. There's no algorithm that says this is how it works. It's literally Krishna putting his hand in the bucket and taking out whatever comes out.
प्रभु जी संचित कर्मा क्या होता है?
दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन, जो आपके बकेट में है जितना और जितना आपके लोटा में मिला के संचित हो गया. संचित बेसिकली मींस टोटल एक्यूमुलेशन.
Total.
Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sure. Go ahead.
This question often comes like for a devotee when he takes to devotional service, even when we were glorifying the bhakti, it was saying klesha agni dah, that it destroys the results of all sinful reactions, right? But and also Padma Puran, there is a verse, it says like the sinful reaction in form of bijam, like seed or kutam, all that the four levels are being destroyed. So my question is, I mean, it's for someone who perfected the devotional service. I assume it's for that, but it's not for someone who is in the stage of sadhana bhakti, because we see often in the stage of sadhana bhakti we do suffer sinful reactions.
So Prabhu, we'll talk about that later. There's a whole huge discussion on that topic coming up.
Yeah.
So if you can give me some time, we will cover that point in a lot of detail.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay, sure. Just bear with me. Anything else? Okay, all right. So then let's read the next paragraph. So basically the point being made here is that when we suffer or enjoy, we are exhausting the accumulated karma. Okay. And yeah, that's basically it. So the only way for a non-devotee to exhaust their karmas is to suffer or enjoy the results. We'll talk about what happens in the case of devotees later on. Okay. All right, actually it's just coming up. So somebody can read the next paragraph.
I'll do it, Prabhuji.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Is this the one? There are many results.
Yes, yes.
Okay. There are many results of past sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment, and we may be suffering in the future due to our present sinful activities. But all of these reactions to sinful deeds can immediately be stopped if we take to Krishna consciousness. As evidence for this, Srila Rupa Goswami quotes from the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, 14th chapter, 18th verse. This verse is in connection with Lord Krishna's instruction to Uddhava, where he says, "My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire which can burn into ashes unlimited fuel supplied to it. The purport is that as the blazing fire can burn any amount of fuel to ashes, so devotional service to the Lord in Krishna consciousness can burn up all the fuel of sinful activities. For example, in the Gita, Arjuna thought that fighting was a sinful activity, but Krishna engaged him on the battlefield under his order, and so the fighting became devotional service. Therefore, Arjuna was not subjected to any sinful reaction."
Yeah. So Prabhu, your question is being answered, and it will be answered even further later on. So basically, there are two very important points being made here. One is that in the context of karmas, bhakti is like a blazing fire. It destroys the sins of an individual. If somebody remembers the verse 54 from the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita, just to Indragopam Athwa Indra Mahob Kalmanu Bandhanam Phal Bhajanam Atmanoti Kalmani Nidhati Kicha Bhakti Bhaja Govindamadi Purusham Dhammamadam. That the devotional service burns the karmas. Karmani Nidhati. It burns devotional sinful reactions. And second point is that any activity performed following the instructions of the Lord becomes bhakti and therefore does not result in sin. So, Rupa Goswami giving the example of Arjun fighting. So let's talk about that a little. In that battle of Kurukshetra, Arjuna was fighting and Duryodhana was fighting. Duryodhana's fighting was resulting in sinful reactions. Arjun's fighting was not. Although they were both killing. The reason was Arjun was following Krishna's orders to fight. Therefore, his fighting and killing, being an instruction from Krishna, was bhakti, not sinful activities. Whereas Duryodhana was doing it for his own interest. And therefore, it was sinful activity. Is that clear? Somebody please say yes or ask a question.
Yes,
Very clear.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, good.
Dad, can I ask a question?
Please, of course, do. Yeah, go ahead.
So for us, let's
the
say
pure devotees?
No, me, someone who's not a pure devotee, but trying to be a devotee. So let's say I go to work every day, and sometimes I have clients who I feel that maybe they're not the most Krishna conscious clients and I'm being implicated. Sometimes I wonder, like, am I being implicated by working for them? I'm obviously not a pure devotee, but my consciousness might be, Krishna, please accept this as an offering. Does that make it karma free, or does it have to be blessed by my guru? Or how do we know, like at my level, what is bhakti and if that's considered bhakti or not?
Correct. Excellent question, Mother. Thank you so much for asking. So if
Did you just call me, wait. Did you just call me mother? I think you called me mother.
Oh, did I?
You said question mother. You
Oh, it's habit, I guess.
Hare Krishna, sorry, Prabhuji. Maybe you were the mother in your past birth. That's why you came as daughters.
It could be, you never know. For those who don't know, she's my biological daughter. So it's not just daughter, it's biological daughter. And okay, so if you recall the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it talks about Karma Yoga. It talks exactly about your question, which says, yes, there will be karma unless you offer the results to me. So if we are performing whatever job we're performing, and we offer the results of that job to Lord Krishna, there is no karma. It's to the extent that we don't, it becomes karma. So if you are able to somehow give 100% to Krishna, then it's no sinful activities. Now, you could say, wait a minute, I can't do that. I got to eat. I got to live in a place. I have, if I have kids, I got to pay for them, on and on and on. Well, it's not that difficult even in those situations to offer everything to 100% to Krishna. How? For example, wherever we live in, if you make that a temple, where the main owner is the Lord, and we are simply living there as a renter or the servant. So now, whatever rent or mortgage we are paying, it's like maintaining a temple. Whatever cleaning we are doing, whatever upkeep we are doing, whatever cooking we are doing, it's all for Krishna. And we only eat prasadam, therefore no karma. If we have kids, we make them devotees. Now we're serving the devotees of Krishna. We pay their school fees, we pay for their other expenses. It's all for the devotee maintenance. So we can turn every expense into an expense for Krishna, which means we can actually give 100% of whatever we earn to Lord Krishna and become karma free while working in the material world. So I hope, Radha Bhakti, that answers your question.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
So Prabhuji, I have just one question to Radha Bhakti is there. So maybe, I thought that she's looking at that. She's working for a company which is a sinful company, for example. I'm just making, okay, for the sake of story. So
all companies are sinful.
Still it will be the same, Prabhuji, no karma, and whatever she earns and uses that?
Absolutely. Whatever she earns, she gives to Krishna. Then she's not keeping anything for herself. So where is the result?
But activity, the client where we work, that is a sinful
So
place of
again,
whatever form.
it's like, for example, Prabhu, you eat rice and you eat roti. It's sinful. You're killing the plants. It's nothing but sin. How do you sanctify it?
The offering to Krishna, yeah.
Does it still have sins there?
After offering, no, as a bhoga.
So there you go. And that's exactly what we're talking about. She's offering everything she's earning to Krishna. So sanctified.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Sure.
Prabhuji, I have a follow-up question with that. So my question is that, let's say if you're working for a company where they're selling meat and stuff, I mean, you don't have a choice, you're just working there. And the earnings coming from that service, even though you offer 100% to Krishna, it's still like sin, there's no sins?
No, that's a different situation.
Yeah.
That's a different situation because there are other types of karmas like shared karmas. Those we are not offering. right? So that's a different situation. And,
Okay.
and I don't want to say you don't have choice ever, but I think typically there would be a choice. If you have choice, get out.
Yeah.
And like do whatever you can to get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be there.
Prabhu, I had a similar question related to what just the Mataji asked right now. Actually, so many times people do give donations, right, in the temple. Or like they will come to you and they'll be like, oh, please accept this much money. Like, because you're doing Bhakti Vriksha feeding kids, like, can you use this money, like, to make bhoga and prashadam and like, okay, like, so that the devotees can eat honor prashadam. But sometimes, like not sometimes, I never take money from people and then they get offended because I know most of the people over here, they have businesses like Subways and Quiznos and restaurants. Now, is it like, I really get confused because I know there are Shastric references where it says that even a money that is coming as a donation also from that kind of resources should not be accepted. And then there are some sides like, like where some of the acharyas have even like said that in certain, so where do we draw the line? Like what's okay, what's not okay?
So it's not okay for you to accept that money.
Yes.
That's for sure. So you're doing the right thing.
Okay.
And tell that person to give it directly to the temple, not your house and not your program.
Okay.
You don't want to deal with that.
Okay, perfect.
That is sinfully accumulated money.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank
Sure,
you.
you're welcome.
Prabhuji, I have a question then.
Yes.
There is a pastime, right? Jisme I'm forgetting the name. Is it Ramanujacharya, where he sends the message that he's coming with the devotees. He sends a message to one of his disciples that they have to feed the devotees, serve the Vaishnavas, but they did not have money. So this female disciple, she did not she did not have any other choice. So there was a landlord types of rich guy who I mean she told him that she will fulfill all his desires if he gives her some money because his Gurudev is coming. So then she takes the money, she serves the Vaishnavas, and then she tells her husband, and then her husband takes her to that man, and while going she takes Mahaprasad of her Guru with him, and she says, okay, before would you like to accept this prasad? And that man accepts that, and suddenly his consciousness transforms. So I mean, this is also a sinful activity, right? But still, because she used that money in the service of Vaishnavas, she is glorified. So like Prabhuji is saying that if somebody is offering money to use that in Bhakti Vriksha programs where you're actually serving the devotees, so is that, I mean, how to contemplate on these two different aspects?
Yeah, so you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful because it is very complicated. I don't mean to insult Charan Prabhu, but it's not the same level as Ramanujacharya. It's totally different. Like there were things Prabhupada could do that you and I would not even think about doing. So it's different. So be very careful.
I 1000% agree with you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. So the things we can't handle, Ramanujacharya can handle, Prabhupada can handle. So you have to be very, very careful.
Prabhu, I remember a pastime from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada that he used to say that everyone in the mutt should chant 64 rounds because of the same thing, because the money that is coming may be coming from some sinful people.
Sure.
So it's necessary that you chant at least 64 rounds so that in order to counteract that sin that is coming with that money, and we are cooking food with that. And one more thing, I remember a pastime from Sri Bhaktimal, I think, that there was a devotee who was a meat cutter. He had a meat cutting shop of himself. But at the time of meat cutting, he was always chanting the names of Narayan. And what happened, Krishna himself sent a Shaligram Shila to his place as a stone to be used for weighing the meats. And he was doing a sinful activity, but still, while he was chanting the names, and he was pure at heart. That's the reason that Krishna accepted him, even if he was doing meat cutting activities.
Yeah. So once again, very different level of devotees. And this is what Prabhupada always warned us: do not imitate.
Yeah.
So following in the footsteps is one thing, but imitation is dangerous, very dangerous. So these stories are great to understand the positive side of it, but don't interpret them and say, so therefore I can do it, therefore it's okay. It's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's be very, very
Prabhuji, I'm sorry. I'm
Don't be
still
sorry. Go ahead, ask.
doubtful. So I understand what you said, that we are not at the level of Ramanujacharya and Srila Prabhupada. But I was thinking from the perspective of that disciple, that who goes to, I mean, she did anything she could do to serve the Vaishnavas, right? And in turn, the conscience of a man who was probably very degraded, I mean, he changed because she gave him prasadam, right? So I'm just trying to understand that, is it that when you have no other option and you have to do it, then you do it? Or is it like it's a no, I mean, it's a thumb rule that you don't do it? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I understand, but there's two different points here. One is the perspective of the man, that is the perspective of the woman. So man got purified from prasadam. The simple, done. Now the question is, was this woman right in doing what she did? Does that mean we can do the same thing? And this is what I was saying, that these people are different level. The consciousness is very different level. Ours is not there. Ours is very contaminated. So we shouldn't even think about doing something like that. Say, oh no, we're doing it for the Lord. Because I'll tell you, a lot of prostitutes will be chanting Krishna's name, saying, oh, I'm pure because I'm chanting Krishna's name, but I'll keep doing what I'm doing. No, we can't pretend, and we can't pretend to have the same level of consciousness that this Mataji you're talking about had. So again, don't get caught in those things. It's a very dangerous thought process. Just stay away. Stick to the simple things that we understand.
Right, Prabhuji. But I think this is a great platform where at least I can ask and clarify.
No. I don't want you asking. I'm just saying, don't get confused. And don't
I understood what you're saying, Prabhuji. But I always understood this pastime from this point of view, that because this man's money was used to serve Vaishnavas, he and plus also he got the Mahaprasad of a pure devotee, and he changed. And I always thought that we should engage everyone and everyone's money into the service of Lord. But I think I understood today what you are saying, that we shouldn't be doing it, because probably there would be some karma types effect on us if we are being the medium for that. So we should rather direct them to temple, maybe. Or
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
And actually, I have seen with my own eyes, somebody came to the temple to give some money to a sannyasi, but the sannyasi knew the other man and how the money was earned. He refused. He says, just put it in the donation box. Don't give it to me. So that's my point. You have to be very, very careful. And let's face it, we have, again, on the individual basis, I can speak for me, so many issues that I have, so many so much contamination I have, so many faults I have, so much disqualification I have. I can't play with these things. I would rather be rude and say, sorry, Prabhuji, I can't take that, put them in the donation box, than say, take it, yeah, I'll use it at the service of Krishna. Don't do it. Stay away.
Because Prabhuji, I have personally done it, because when I was in Chandigarh, I had a friend of mine, her father has this sort of business, and she always used to give me money to give donation at the temple on Janmashtami and all other festivals, thinking that she's giving her father's money and her father will be purified. And I always thought, okay, it's a good thing to do, and I have done it so many times.
No,
but I understood the concept today.
Yeah. Now, if you're taking the envelope and putting in the gullak, donation box, that's fine. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you taking the money and buying bhoga and offering it. I'm talking about that.
Got it. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Sure, no worries. Okay, so I'll take more questions if you want, but I don't think I'll go further than this because it's already 9:33. I think I was able to do only half of what I wanted to do before, but that's okay. I don't mind. So if there are any other questions, I'll answer them.
Prabhuji, just one simple small question. So when you go for book distribution, let's say, and then people give money and that's going directly, so that's fine, right? Like you're not really doing anything with it.
Correct. You can't be asking people before you give a donation, tell me how you earned it. You can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, that's silly. How can you do? And then so many people come to the temple. I mean, it's good. They're donating directly to Krishna.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. And you don't know what anyone's doing anyways. So
correct.
Okay.
Just don't become implicated. That's my message.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I really loved the explanation.
Sure, you're welcome.
And I understood it.
Good. Damodaran Prabhu?
Prabhu, sorry, I don't want to be Siddhi over here, but I have another question that needs a little bit of clarification. Like, though money is used in Krishna's service, whether temple or non-temple, and I know even like great sannyasis, I personally have seen that's Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the Samadhi near where is that, near Radharaman temple somewhere? Yeah. And there is this Goswami currently taking care of the Shaligram Shilas in the Samadhi area. And he's really educated, like he speaks fluent English and everything. And he's really like a sadhu. And even people like him, I have seen, they don't touch money even when we give them money. They ask them to just put it into the donation box. Now, my question is, so when these people who are like really saintly, purified people, they're not going to touch money, knowing, especially if someone knows that, okay, this money is coming from a meat source or whatever, from such, they're not going to touch your money. Then how come going that money to the temple gets purified?
Well, it gets purified if and only if it gets used directly in the service of Krishna.
Okay.
If somebody is using it for their purposes, then it's not purified.
Okay. that explains it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, purification comes from whatever it is being used in the service of Krishna. That's why we offer bhoga. That's why we offer other things. Because offering, the act of offering is what sanctifies it. Otherwise, by definition, anything in the material world, by definition, is contaminated. By default, is contaminated. It's purified only when used in the service of Krishna. I'll be honest with you. I'm a very simple man, not a lot of intelligence here. So I understand things in a very simple way. So simple rule is, if you use it in the service of Krishna, it's sanctified, otherwise contaminated. You can have a million variations of that, but the principle remains the same. So I just stick with the principle.
Okay, Prabhu. Okay.
Makes perfect sense.
Satisfied, Prabhu. Satisfied. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect principle.
Huh?
Perfect principle.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Yes, anything to do with Krishna is perfect.
Can we name this section as perfect question and perfect answers?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm telling that this is like perfect question and perfect answer.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to quote something from there. Yes, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, then thank you very much. It was a nice lively session today.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering all the silly questions that I had.
You're welcome. I'm glad that I could answer your question.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Nitya Mataji, thank you for answering all the questions.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you,
so
everyone.
much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That's some really great questions. Mancha kalpavesha kripasam
Ampavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo
Namo Namaha.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very
Thank you
nice
again.
class.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Everyone, thank you.
Hare Krishna.